the UFC, it's the biggest organization there is, the top of the top. So if you're not winning fights, why are you here? They don't keep around too many guys that are just stepping stones. They want competitive fights. So I did. I came into it, but in hindsight, the way Daron fought, I'd hate to see anybody get their walking papers off of that. I mean, the only difference, I guess, is for me it would have been maybe a third decision, tough loss, and maybe even another close to fight of the night type material. Whereas, if you get finished 3 times in a row, I think it might be you have to fight a little harder to keep your job. But I hope he doesn't have to get released, because he busted me up pretty good for a little while.
Some of the play-by-play guys had him winning going into the third. Now, did your corner help you, or did you feel like there was an urgency there?
Absolutely. I told my corner coming into this one, don't sugarcoat me. Tell me. And all they said was, you have to go, not only win this round, but go for the finish. They thought maybe I had one of the rounds. I was on top for a while, but he flipped it and switched it, and I had a weird inverted triangle. I didn't know what was going on, because up until that point I had gotten tagged up quite a bit. So I knew I was going for the finish. Once I had him, I took the got the takedown. I felt, got to get it finished. So it doesn't matter who was ahead on the scorecards, because I got the W.
Can you talk about the training that prepared you for this? I mean, obviously you got wrestling and great jiu-jitsu. Just talk about the guys and coaches you work with that
for sure.
To this.
Yeah, we did a lot of scrambling, a lot of ground and pound work with obviously my head coach Daniel Gracie, my wrestling coach Jafari Veneer came in, stayed in Philly with me. Obviously I still train up at the ranch too, but did a lot of it at my home base, Renzo Gracie Philly in Philadelphia, with my grappling teammates. These guys are all better grapplers than me. They're all better everywhere on the ground. I'm just better at striking. So most of this camp was spent scrambling and setting up my punches to takedowns and getting out of bottom position, ending up on top, and looking for that back, looking for his back. We knew that was kind of a weakness maybe for him, and I mean, every Thursday, that's all we did. We took out an entire day of big glove sparring. Screw that anymore. That's not how fights go. We don't sit there and trade back and forth. You see what happens if you do that. You get mangled. So we did one hard sparring day, and then one day it was nothing but up and down for an hour-long MMA class. Did a lot more of that with my team.
At what point did you sense, how tired he was and that you were going to go for the sub?
Second round, I felt it. I felt tired, but then I rebounded, and I was bouncing around in the corner, and I saw him still kind of give one of those to get off of the stool, and I was like, man, I need to just keep on. And I recovered from the liver shot at that point. That was my only concern. The end of that second round, right, is that when he dropped me with the liver shot, and I was trying to elbow off my back, but the whole time I kept thinking, you just got to get to the third round. I couldn't even breathe, and I felt him just again in the clinch. His punches had nothing on them, and I was like, the double leg's going to be there, and he doesn't have the gas for a guillotine. So that's when I went for it and just dumped him.
This was, you're real emotional after up on top of the octagon. Was that, what you were talking about earlier about just kind of losing these down? Or?
Yeah, it was not only that, but it was, I just, my family, back home, we're going through the issues with my dad, and, I have a baby at home, and it was just, I've done a lot for the UFC, I feel, and they've done a lot for me, and I just felt that I needed to prove that the fights they've given me, I'm worthy of taking. These big-name fights. Since my debut, I haven't fought somebody that hasn't had more fights than me in the UFC. I fought Edson Barboza, Ross Pearson, Daron Cruickshank, and Danny Castillo. My first 5 fights, So I wanted to show them, listen, I swear you're not giving me these just for exciting fights. We can finish these guys.
Are you expecting or hoping for another big name?
Yeah, of course, always. We'll see what they say. We'll take some time. I'm not going to rush into it. I want to go see 2 of my friends are fighting in Pittsburgh, Cowboy and another friend of mine, Jonathan. So I want to just take the time, go support them, help them train, and drink beer.
What was the reason for kind of moving your training came back to Philly? Was it just financial?
No. It wasn't really anything. I think what a lot of people forget is I think since I got into the UFC, since me and Cowboy are so tight, everybody assumes that I do almost all my camps at Jackson's, and really I do the majority of my training in Philadelphia, and I go and do maybe two weeks to a month, maybe a little more than a month, depending on who I'm fighting, what I'm training for. This fight in particular, it made more sense to stay home with my jiu-jitsu training partners. I had a lot of guys Daron's size with his skill set, spinning big overhand rights and stuff like that. So really, that's it. And having the baby at home, you know, it helps just to see my family. It's still a part of the BMF ranch, but you know, more than that, I'm a city boy through and through, man. So to be at home in the city and be able to walk to the cafes and the restaurants is so much better than the desert.
You don't miss all the horse shit.
Oh, I hate it, man. I hate it. You talk to me. You got Cowboy on one end and me on the other. We are complete opposites when it comes to how we like to live.
What about the stylistic matchup for this particular fight with Daron? I mean, does it excite you to know it's going to be a barn burner, or is it a little scary? What is it?
It's a little scary, to be honest with you. Whenever a guy throws the types of techniques that Daron throws and I throw, and he ended up getting off a lot more of them, couldn't find my striking range. He did a good job. I landed some good leg kicks, and maybe I might have caught him with a couple knees. But man, he is fast with the Taekwondo. I'll give him that. He's probably on another level even than I am with spinning techniques. But I just think again and again, I think what gets me the wins is I'll fight, man. I'm gritty. You can punch me in the face. I'm spitting blood out on the mat. I love that. I love hearing the crowd when I'm spitting blood on the mat. That's why I'm here. It's what I get paid to do. So, but yeah, a little scared.
In the beginning of the interview, you were talking about beer. How do you feel about beer?
I love beer, and I live in Philadelphia, so there's a lot of craft beers. We have a lot of these bars where it's like this. You see how these are all name brands in Philly? This would be 17 beers you never heard of in your entire life, and they're all as dark as your shoes. It's delicious.
So you're a dark beer guy.
I like dark beer. I like Belgian beers a lot too, man. Belgian ales, like they kick you in the ass and they taste good going down. So.
Which one's the personal favorite?
Right now, the first one I'll say is because I have a case of it in my fridge at home that I haven't been able to touch, but I had to buy it because it's a Christmas beer. It's a Mad Elf by, I think it's Trogs, and I have a whole case of it sitting in the fridge for me when I get home. And it wouldn't have tasted as good coming home with a loss, I can tell you that much. I might have thrown it out.
I might be wrong, but this was the most grappling heavy fight of all your fights in UFC, right?
Yeah, recently. When I fought a guy, Jason Sago, in Halifax, and we grappled a lot. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and that was a tough grappling match. But even that was, I felt, up and down a little more. This one, I was able to secure top position, pass his guard quite a few times, and kind of land some ground and pound, and have to fight submissions off my back too. And yeah, definitely, I would say, yeah, you're right, the most grappling heavy.
I guess I'm going at, do you now have I don't want to say a newfound passion for it, but like, do you appreciate the ground game more in a sense, like, that's just as exciting as knocking someone out?
I'll be completely honest, no, but it got me to the win. So I'm going to go home, and you better believe I'm going to throw that gi on and put my belt on and walk around with my blue belt like, yeah, what's up now? And, hopefully I take a couple gi classes, get my purple belt.
You're a purple belt now.
You guys heard it. You heard it. Daniel Gracie himself just said I'm a purple belt. Maybe a couple stripes on there. I don't know.
This fight is not going to go to the ground. He's going to knock him out. Like, I know there's going to be a striking.
Oh, yeah, right. If I had stayed on the feet any longer, I might have got knocked out.
I was supposed to give him on the cage. I'm like, so now just to let you know, you're a purple belt.
All right.
New purple belt.
Now I have to get in the gi.
Awesome. Congrats.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it, man. Good.